Finally, it happened. The eternal argument of who is the greatest of all time was resolved. After the World Cup, the doubts surrounding this question will be reduced to a minimum. Whatever happens in the final, it is almost certain that, among other things, Leo Messi will snatch the golden ball of the tournament because he did exactly what everyone expected of him: goals, assists, and leading his team to the final. I am very happy because this eternal argument was about time to end. It was pointless anyway. Both Messi and Ronaldo are tremendous footballers and nothing will erase their place in the football history. Coming back to the final though, let's not forget that Argentina is not just Messi. Without a doubt, many of the Gauchos players remained out of the spotlight, though they deserve no less adulation than Messi himself if we watch their play at the tournament. The hero Martinez in the penalty shootout against the Netherlands, the iron defense led by Otamendi, the indomitable Enzo Fernandez, who is already wanted by the Europe's top clubs. What about the other two of arguably the strongest midfield lineup of this championship, namely McAllister and Depou? If we look at them as individuals, it's hardly Argentina's midfield line that will make the first impression watching most teams. But the truth is that these three have made Messi show everything he's capable of, and the Gauchos defense looks so solid. Personally, Argentina were my top favorites before the tournament started, as you can see from the pre-tournament prediction, but during the tournament itself I wasn't so sure about them. Now, however, I can boldly say that despite some wobbles we saw, at least in my opinion, Argentina fully proved themselves and deservedly made it to this final. The fact that they won the Copa America and this long streak without a loss before the start of the World Cup are obviously no coincidence at all. France, however, also deserve a huge credit, even more than Argentina perhaps. Let's look at it from the following perspective. France, apart from having at least 5 key figures injured for the whole tournament, and here I mean people who are solid starters, some of them key figures in the 2018 triumph. Apart from these issues, throughout the tournament Deschamps had to deal with additional injuries or other reasons for missing key players. Take even the team's last game against Morocco, a semi-final crucial clash with not just the sensation of the tournament but Morocco, who are playing like a top European team. Until before the semi-final, nobody knew that they could play such active and offensive football at such a level, simply because they had conceded only 1 goal so far and didn't have a situation in which they should score goals. In this match, France had to do without their jewel in the midfield, Rabiot, who I allowed myself to seriously underestimate before the tournament, given his club history in recent years, but once again it proves that sometimes it doesn't matter. Upamecano, who has been the first team player in defense all tournament, wasn't there. No problem at all. Fofana and Konaté come in and not only make a stunning match but stand out. The truth is that France have a lot of top players as quantity, which is rare. They also have plenty of weapons through which to score. There's a brutal variety and Griezmann has been reborn. Without doubt the player of the tournament for France, barring Mbappe's goals. So France are on the verge of going down in history as one of the greatest teams to ever win the World Cup, because they will defend it if they do it, and that hasn't happened in over half a century. Notice that there weren't many spectacular clashes from traditionally great footballing nations at this tournament. I would say there were only 3. The Spain-Germany match in the groups, then Argentina-Netherlands, and then France-England, with the last 2 being on the quarterfinals. So this final is a great happiness for the neutral spectator and comes as a reward for a pretty good World Cup, especially against all of the criticism it has been subjected to. But now it's also the time for betting. I have 2 main bets that I feel don't justify the high odds the bookmakers have given them. First, both teams to score at the odds of 2.00. We have 2 teams that have literally scored 2 goals in 5 of their 6 games so far. In France game with Tunisia, where they went down 1-0, they didn't need to do anything, so they played with the reserves, so it doesn't really count. And Argentina losing 1-2 to Saudi Arabia, they could have scored at least 3 goals. So as solid as the defense is, we have guys like Messi and Mbappe on the 2 sides of the attack. Too much variety. Players like Giroud and Alvarez are also showed what they are capable of. My other bet is on cards. Over 3 cards plus over 0 cards in the first half. This can be placed in Bet365 as a bet builder. It can also be done in Betano, for example. I think both teams will go on a war. The Argentinians do it in every game, but the French won't back them down. The truth is that both teams have shown how strong they are in all aspects of the game by managing to win and take decisively results in games where they gave the initiative to their opponents. And this is where I slowly go down into the main question: who will actually win the cup? With France, Deschamps had his headache again with new viruses and constant news about how some of the first team players are sick and won't play. In Argentina's case, it is still not 100% sure what the starting lineup will be, who exactly will be the fullbacks, who will stop Mbappe, and with what scheme will they play, because they were one of the teams that made the most changes in certain areas. No doubt we can find dozens or even hundreds of arguments why one of the two teams deserve to be and will be champion, but this is absolutely clear. As the odds show before the game, the forces look completely even, so anything is possible. However, having doubted Argentina's success in some knockout matches, I'm bound to back them in the final, especially as I've already mentioned they've been my overwhelming favorites since before the tournament started, and I've backed them myself, so it's all or nothing. My prediction for the final is Argentina to become the new world champions. Let me know in the comments all of your expectations for the final, what you will be watching for in the final, what you are excited about, what you're angry about, who you will be cheering for, who will become the champion, and most of all, what are your bets for the final. Subscribe to the channel and check out our website bettingom.com if you want to win in the long run from value sports betting.